Hi, my name is Nick Kelly, and I'm here today to talk about why I think the iPhone 5 is the best smartphone on the market. The iPhone 5 came out a year ago, and I got mine, which I replaced the iPhone 4 with, and I've loved it ever since. I've had no issues with it, especially with the iOS 7, which a lot of people complain about. I think it adds a lot to the phone, and we'll talk about that. The three main reasons why I like the iPhone 5 are the hardware, the software, meaning the apps as well as Siri and the iOS 7, and the functionality, how well it works, the way it feels in your hand, as well as how easy it is to operate in the learning curve. We'll discuss those in just a little bit. Let's first start out with the hardware. Now, the hardware, what I mean by that is what it's made from, the design, the camera, the display, the battery, as well as the charger. Let's talk about the design first. This is the iPhone 5. See how thin it is. It's the thinnest and the lightest smartphone on the market, and the thinnest and lightest iPhone for that matter. It is very durable. It is made from aluminum as well as glass. It doesn't feel cheap. Most Androids are made out of cheap plastic, which you'll see with the Galaxy phones. They have done multiple drop tests with both the Android phones and the iPhone, and the iPhone 5 holds up well. The Androids usually crack, they splinter, parts of them bust off. The iPhone 5 will get dents. Sometimes the screen will crack, but for the most part, they hold up very well. Very well built. It feels great in your hand. It's a good phone to use. I recommend watching the drop tests. You can find them on YouTube. Just look them up, an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy versus on the drop test. They have a lot of people that do them. So this is the home button. You also have the camera, and then there's the rear camera, the speaker, as well as a speaker down here for when you're listening to music or watching movies, and it's very loud. It's actually louder than my iPad, which is nice, and it's very simple to use, very easy. There's all your apps there. I know it's hard to see, but it's a great phone to use. I have had no issues with it. There's also the charger that comes with it. This is the lightning charger. It's nice because you can plug it in either way, upside down. It doesn't matter. There's not a certain way you have to plug it in. You don't have to worry about breaking anything. Very durable. Very good phone. Let's talk about the camera. I've already shown you the front camera and the rear camera. The front camera has 1.2 megapixels, which isn't a lot. With the rear camera, which you're going to be using for most of your picture taking as well as videos, has 8 megapixels. It's a great camera for what you need to do with it. There are some smartphones out there, some Android devices that have better cameras on them, but with the side-by-side comparison, the pictures they take, even the iPhone 5 looks a little bit sharper and the colors are much more saturated. The other pictures usually look a little bit more dull. So it's a really great camera. I enjoy it taking pictures of my wife and kids. Always works great. The display is a Retina display. It's very clear. The pixel's very saturated. You'll get a great picture out of it when watching movies, watching home videos, or anything else you need to do with it, or even playing games. It's a very, very well-made phone, a well-made display. The battery life on it runs about 7 hours, and that's running at about half the brightness, about 50% brightness on it. It gets about 7 hours. That's an hour more than most smartphones out there. There are a few that will go a little higher than that, but not by much. Once again, it's a very competitive phone, a great phone out there. So that's as far as the design goes. Now I'd like to talk to you about what's inside, the software. And what I mean by software, I mean the iOS 7, which replaced the iOS 6, Siri, and the applications. Let's start with the iOS 7. iOS 7 is the newest operating system for the smartphone and iPad devices. It's faster. It's notably faster. When I went from the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5, and once I got the iOS 7, I knew there was a big difference. It's smoother. It's easy to close apps. It's got a great way to do privacy settings if you want to be able to search the web in privacy. Maybe you're doing Christmas shopping for your wife or your kids. You don't want them getting on your phone when they're playing games and finding out what you've bought for them. You simply just hit the privacy button on the internet, and you can take it on and off at will. Very easy to do. The It has as well camera filters now, so you can do tinted photos, black and white photos. You can also do panoramic scenes. So if you're a nature buff, you're out there, you're hiking in the Grand Canyon, you want to take a better picture, it has that available to you. It's a great, the iOS 7 has made the camera a lot better and a lot more useful. The Siri functionality, I really like the new Siri. My wife had the 4S. I only had the 4, and the 4 didn't have Siri or any kind of voice texting or anything on it. The Android I owned before did. I had the Motorola Droid, and I had all sorts of problems with it. I had to talk like a robot whenever I wanted to do voice texting or say an address into the Google Maps to have it find where I needed to be. Not an issue with Siri. Siri, you talk normal, it's going to find out what you need. It's much more functional than it was on the 4S. You can ask it to find directions for you, find out stats on your favorite sports figures, find out when the next game's going to be. You can ask it to read text to you, back to you, or send text or read emails for you, or you can use it to do an email. It's a very great service. I love Siri. And I know other smartphones out there that have that, but a lot of people say it's gimmicky. They don't like using it. It's not as functional. My brother-in-law, Brandon, went to the Galaxy Samsung Galaxy 4, I think it was, that he got the newest one. He quickly went back to the iPhone 5. In fact, he got the iPhone 5S because it was that much better. And he said they're not the same. The iPhone 5 is much more functional, and the applications on it are much better. Let's talk about the applications. When I own an Android, I noticed that all the best games that were coming out, because I'm a gamer, and all the greatest new applications always hit the iOS market first. They always went to the Apple phones. I wasn't getting them on my Androids till later. Games like Cut the Rope, which are now on all the devices, was originally on the iPhone. Games like Angry Birds, that was originally on the iPhone. A lot of games that have come out, which some are still only on the iPhone. And it's got over 450,000 apps. Very useful. You'll find an app for everything you could possibly need. And the app market's easy to use. Once you download it, downloads directly to your phone, directly to your screen. You don't have to worry about going into your settings, finding out where that app is. I've had friends who own Android phones. I help them all the time go into their phone and find out where they downloaded that app too. Even to this day, they've owned the phone for years, had trouble finding out how to use it properly. The iPhone 5, you won't have that issue at all. Very easy to use. Very easy to use. Which leads us to the third reason, the functionality. As I said before, easy to use. It has a really quick learning curve. You pick it up, you turn it on, you look for your apps, you touch the app is up. It's that simple. Settings are easy to use. You can find whatever you need to find in the settings. The privacy setting, you don't even have to go to settings for it. It's right there on your browser, as well as history or other functions that you need. I already talked about how it feels good in the hand. It's easy to turn on. It's easy to swipe and start using. No issues there. My grandmother, who's 86, she has an iPhone 5 as well as an iPad. Loves them. Can do Facebook with them. She Facebooks. She does all these things that she wouldn't have been able to do on any other phone because it's so easy for her to use. She doesn't have to think about it as much as she would on an Android device. Loves the iPhone. My mother, who has limited mobility in her hands, uses the iPhone 5. My father got her one recently for her birthday. Doesn't have any issues with it. Able to find out, able to see pictures of her grandchildren. Able to call us or FaceTime with us. She likes to do FaceTime, especially on the kids' birthdays. Very simple to use. No one has to explain things to her. She can go right in and find it. And this is a great device, especially for those who didn't grow up from day one with cell phones. A lot of us have come, the cell phones came into the market a little later in life for us. So it's a great, great device. Easy to sync your apps up. And movies and music. If you download movies or music with your iPad or your computer, anything on iTunes, iCloud allows you to take it, download it directly to your phone. So say if you're waiting for something, or you're on, waiting for your to catch a plane, and you downloaded a movie or some music that you'd like to listen to then or watch now, you can download directly to your iPhone. No problem at all. Very seamless, great to use. And the sharing pictures, my wife and I like to take pictures of our kids and share them with each other. Also very easy to use. No problems there. So once again, the iPhone 5 has great functionality. It's got great software, a lot of apps, fun to use, and it has great hardware. The outside case, once again, here it is, a great device to use. I have not found better on the market. I've held lots of iPhones, lots of different cell phones in my hands. This is the best smartphone out there. So I would recommend going to your Apple store, try it out. They'll let you try it out for free. Also, if you want to, you can go and watch drop tests online. Great way to get an idea of how durable it's going to be before you buy it. Once again, I think that the iPhone 5 is the best smartphone on the market. Thanks.